This video will contain spoilers for the Superman movie, so if you're worried about spoilers, be sure to see the film, save this video, and come back to it after you've seen it. Oh my god, guys, Superman was so good. It was awesome. I've seen it 3 times as of this video recording, and I can't wait to see it all over again. Now, in this video, I'll be showing you how to make every main character from the movie using 100% official LEGO parts and pieces. And if I do say so myself, I think this is one of the best showcases I've ever assembled. I'd love to know down in the comments which figures you think turned out the absolute best of the best, so be sure to hit like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. By the way, I also recorded a cover of the classic song Kryptonite, and there's an awesome LEGO stop motion on the channel now that I'd really appreciate if you went over and checked out. I love putting out music, and I love when I get to do a video for it and show you guys. So check out Kryptonite, and let's get into the video. So we'll kick things off with Superman, and this is one of those relatively rare moments in superhero movies where we actually start the movie with the main character in their main suit. Think about that. It doesn't really happen all that often. Anyways, to build this version of Superman, I went ahead and used the torso and the head and hair combo from the 2025 mech version of Superman. Thankfully, he's really accessible since he's in the cheapest DC set on shelves right now. At least I'm pretty sure it's the cheapest. Anyways, that makes it easy. I, of course, gave him red hips, and to add some detailing to the legs, I used the legs from Zombie Hunter Spider-Man from the LEGO Marvel Collectible Minifigure Series 1. The only other change I made is adding the rubber cape from Thor. It's come in some other places. In fact, it'll even be on Superman in one of those European magazines that's coming out soon, if not already by the time this video hits. But yeah, I really like the look for this, and we'll keep rolling. So the next character we meet, of course, is Krypto, and we do have 2 options for Krypto right now. On the left, we have the DC Superhero Girls version of Krypto, and on the right, we have the one and only comic book style Krypto that LEGO ever gave us. Of course, it's very cartoon looking. I mean, to be honest, both of them really are, but both of them have the Superman emblem on them, which is definitely good for congruency. But when we actually put Superman in the picture, I honestly think that the comic book one is way too big. So in my opinion, I think for movie accuracy, the best one is the DC Superhero Girls version, and I can understand where some people may have a little bit of pushback on that, but I do think, you know, going to scale, it works the best, and I like it quite a bit. So that's going to be my vote on what we should use here. Up next, we have Thor, who later becomes Gary, and when I was watching the movie for the first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna make a blue robot like this? And I really had to do some thinking and digging, and this assassin droid from Star Wars, in my opinion, is the closest we can possibly get. There may be a way to build the robots using actual minifigure parts, but by that point, it doesn't feel quite like a robot anymore, so I just put a blue single-hull cape on one of the assassin droids, and I'm saying that's the best option, but in my opinion, I don't really think that there is a good option, because I wouldn't want it to look like a minifig, and then there aren't a lot of blue droid parts to build with to begin with, so this is what I'm going to hit send on, and let me know what you guys think. So here we have Superman's parents, and I have to tell you, it is taking everything in me to have not put a Rocket Raccoon head on Jor-El. It's crazy. Bradley Cooper was in this for 2 minutes of total screen time, and on top of that, just based off of where they went with his parents, I really doubt they're going to play any significant role in the future. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but it kind of seems like they're writing them out of the story as being villainous. Regardless, to build these 2, I used white legs for both, and I actually used the Jor-El torso from the LEGO Batman movie CMF Series 2 for Jor-El himself. I know he technically didn't have the S on his torso, but I thought it'd be a nice homage to the previous Jor-El minifig, and the headpiece actually comes from one of the Resistance pilot characters from Star Wars with some Han Solo hair, and for his mom, I flipped around the torso from Pepper Potts just so, it's like white with some, ruffles on it, so to speak. The head actually comes from Black Canary, and she has a dark brown ponytail. So like I said, one thing I liked about this movie narratively, at least from a LEGO showcase standpoint, is all the characters in their main outfits get introduced just right in a row. So up next we have the Engineer, and this one's actually easy to make. It only takes 2 figures. Granted, the torso and legs come from the Dune Ornithopter set, which is kind of expensive. So if you don't have that, then I'd be open to hearing what suggestions you guys have in the comments. But the hands, head, and hair all come from Makari from the Eternals line of sets, so thankfully those were pretty cheap, and hopefully you picked those up to get her. Although, that being said, the hair has come in other places, and the head actually came on MJ from Spider-Man, so lots and lots of options where and how you can get these. Now, my build for Lex Luthor is interesting. Of course, I just used a regular black suit and legs for the body, but then, of course, for the head, I went with Draco Malfoy, like the kid version of Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter collectible minifigure series. And here's the thing, guys. I know that it's technically like a kid, but if I didn't tell you that, tell me this head doesn't work for Lex Luthor. You know, without going with something super generic like some of the other Lex Luthor heads, I actually really think this looks like Nicholas Hoult. So I am definitely standing behind this choice. I understand that not everybody is going to be excited about this choice, but think about other Lego heads and getting the likeness down. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my approval on this and say this is what we should use, but let me know in the comments what you think. Okay, Eve was a lot of fun to put together because she had a lot of different outfits and different colors, so I tried to pick something that kind of catered to all the outfits and just gave us a good, overview of what she would wear in the movie. Of course, she's got a cell phone. That's a central plot to her character, but the legs come from the 1966 Joker. Then the torso comes from Trixie from Speed Racer years ago with matching pink arms, tan hands, the head from Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz from the Lego Movie CMF Series 2, or the Lego Movie 2 CMF, you guys know what I mean, and just some long hair here to finish the look. I am so happy with the way this one turned out and would love to hear what you guys think. So up next we have the Hammer of Boravia, and this was admittedly a very difficult figure to make in terms of the helmet. Now, what my thought was for the helmet was to use something like this. This little dude was my actual OC, like when I used to play as a kid. So really, really cool. He was kind of like my Iron Man stand-in. Anyways, you can see how you get the helmet with the black visor. That would be awesome, except that helmet is exceptionally rare in gold. I think it only came on one Castle minifig like 10, 15 years ago. But of course, I don't have that figure, with it being as rare as it is. So unfortunately, I am like, you know what? I don't want to custom paint something. I don't want to, whatever. So the next best option, I think, was this Thanos helmet. Is it perfect? No. But again, we're going with our best option without breaking the purist method, so that's that. Moving down, the head is just a black head underneath to kind of replicate the visor eye line there. Then this torso is actually a city space person torso flipped around with gold arms, gray gloves, and these legs from the Lego video theme. Man, that theme of sets were not good, but man, we got a lot of good useful parts out of it, so hey, a win is a win. Alright, so here we have Ultraman, and I think this custom turned out absolutely awesome. The head actually comes from one of the characters from Star Wars The Force Awakens. It was in the Rey Speeder set. It's one of those Jakku Ravager characters. Now, the torso actually comes from the Sakaran Guard from Thor Ragnarok. I think that works perfect. Then the arms and the legs come from Huntress from the Lego DC CMF line. Okay, here we have Lois and Clark. See what I did there? Clark is pretty simple, although the head is pretty rare. It comes from the official Clark Kent minifigure from the old DVD, I think back in 2013 or 14 from Lego DC, with some unkept black hair and the torso and legs from J. Jonah Jameson from Marvel. For Lois, I actually used the CMF Series 2 legs from Harry Potter, the torso that comes from Lois Lane, ironically, from Batman vs. Superman, then some short sleeve white arms from the Paul Walker character or Dorothy or the German CMFs, come in a lot of places at this point, with a coffee cup full of sugar, of course. Then the head actually comes from Korra from the Tron Legacy set, and she's got long black hair to finish the look, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, now we're going to build some more people from the Daily Planet, that of course being Jimmy Olsen and Cat Grant. For Cat Grant, I used the legs from Dorothy. That way she's got those shiny red shoes. Not that she has those in the movie, but tell me that doesn't look like something Cat would wear. Then the torso is flipped around, and... or is the torso flipped around? No, it's not. It's just the regular torso and the skirt piece from Marge from the Simpsons CMF Series 2, with orange arms, a head that comes from the Pharrell Williams Over the Moon set, with these this hairpiece here that comes from like the little girl in her pajamas from the CMF series, and hands to match. Then for Jimmy Olsen, I used this torso from gosh, what is his name? The Prisoner of Azkaban. Why am I blanking on his name? Anyways, that's where it's from Harry Potter, with dark brown legs, a cell phone, a laptop, the head from Robin from the Lego Batman movie, and some regular kind of reddish hair there to finish the look. Just remembered Sirius Black is his name. To finish out the Daily Planet crew here, we've got Perry White and Steve Lombard. For Steve, I used this head that actually came from one of the security guards from the Lego Batman movie, with some pushed back brown hair and the torso and legs that come in the Twilight Cullen house. For Perry White, I used some dark brown legs with a torso from J. Jonah Jameson as a nice homage to the other most famous editor-in-chief in comics. Then, of course, the head, actually, I think that this came on one of the cops, if I'm not mistaken, from the Lego Batman movie. And then I think I used the eraser method to take the sideburns off. I actually don't know. I've made so many characters over the years, it's hard to keep track of every single piece, but I'm sure somebody in the comments will let us know. I'm almost positive that's the case, though. Then, of course, he's got some flat-top black hair to finish the look. We see Rick Flag in the movie. He actually has, like, a suit on or a shirt and tie, but I went ahead and made him from that one scene where he has tactical gear on because, well, that's a lot more fun for, like, play scenarios and stuff like that. As a nice homage to the universe we're playing in, I used this Gotham City Police Department vest here that comes on Barbara Gordon from the Lego Batman movie, with some short sleeve black arms from Ethan Hunt from Lego Dimensions, and the legs are actually from Barbara as well. The head is one of the old school Jango Fett helmets with Bruce Wayne's hair from the Lego Batman movie. So here we have the Justice Gang, and these are some of my favorite costumes I've made in ages. I think that they turned out awesome, and given the circumstances of pieces we have to work with, I'm very, very happy with the way these turned out. So, we'll start with Hawkgirl over here. These legs come from Jessica Cruz's Green Lantern from DC. The torso is from Proxima Midnight from Lego Marvel, with black arms and black hands. Then, of course, I used the wings and the helmet piece from Hawkman or Hawkgirl from back in the day, and when we lift it up, the head is from the Pharrell Williams Over the Moon set. So there we go. Then, of course, moving over to Mr. Terrific, he does have that mask that comes down over his mouth. If you wanted to, you could take a Sharpie and extend this mask down, but I think that this works well enough for the purist method, so I'm going to leave it as is. That head does come from the character Black Vulcan from the Lego Batman CMF Series 2. Then I used Finn's hair, this torso from Lego City. I believe it's from one of the F1 cars. It might be from Speed Champions, though. I just know it's an F1 driver. Anyways, these legs come from the Lego City Diver, and the arms that have the red printing on them, I mean, seriously, how perfect is that for the purist method on Mr. Terrific? Those arms actually come from the Lego Surfer Dude from the CMF series. Then for Guy Gardner, I love the way that this turned out, guys. Oh my gosh. These legs have come in several places, but mine came from Admiral Thrawn from Star Wars. I gave him a white utility belt that's come on various versions of Batman, Luke Skywalker, things like that. This torso is actually a city torso flipped around. You can see it's a woman's like sport torso, but when we flip it around, you get just that little bit of green on the shoulders that makes it look so perfect. Then, of course, he's got black sleeves, tan hands. I gave him a Green Lantern ring from the Lego DC CMF series. The head comes from Knight Rider from the Lego Dimensions set. There are lots of heads you could use for Guy, though. That's just the one that I picked that I like best. And the hair is the old school Ron hair from the very first waves and first years of Lego Harry Potter. Now, one other thing about Guy is I know that this hair is pretty rare. In fact, I had to hunt it down at a local Bricks and Minifigs just to get it in my collection. So if you don't have that, I honestly think that the bowl cut hair from the Everyone is Awesome set, which I think it's retired now, but it was on store shelves for several years, maybe you have it, I think this works as a decent alternative option. Seeing both side by side, I do like the Ron hair better, but it's worth pointing out that there is another decent enough option, just in case you don't have that. Alright, up next we have Peacemaker from his awesome cameo. That was so funny. I've seen the movie 3 times now as of this video, and my theater erupts laughing every time he shows up. That being said, the torso comes from Captain Marvel from Avengers Endgame, with these short-sleeved red arms from Vacation Robin from the Lego Batman movie CMF, with blue gloves. Those hands came from Beast from the Lego Marvel CMF Series 2, to, although there are other options. Once again, we've got these dual molded legs that came from Admiral Thrawn. They've been used in other places, though. That's just where I got mine from. Then underneath here, I used this like young Han Solo style head. You know, it's been used other places too. And the helmet comes from the Nova Corps officer from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which I felt was fitting because, of course, James Gunn directed this and that. Just as a funny little inclusion, I included a monkey here since we know that Lex Luthor was using them to farm online hate. I mean, if you really wanted to have some fun with it, you could also give him like a phone or something so that he could be like putting out hashtags against Superman. So back in 2020 with the DC CMF series, thank God we got Metamorpho, because if we didn't, I genuinely don't know how I would make this figure. This is literally just Metamorpho, of course, from the DC CMF series 1, the only CMF we got from DC, and of course it's so perfect with the arm printing, all the different elements, and of course I gave him a green gemstone piece there from when he turns his hand into kryptonite in the film. Alright, next we slow things down a bit with Ma and Pa Kent. I love them in this movie and think that the characters here turned out really well. Ma is pretty simple to make. Of course, she uses the legs, torso, and hair from, I think it's Petunia from Harry Potter, if I'm not mistaken. Then I just gave her some shaggy, reddish hair. There might be better hair options out there. I'd be open to hearing your guys' ideas, but I thought that this worked pretty well, especially looking at the pieces that I have in my collection. Then for Pa Kent, I gave him the balding hairpiece from Alfred from the Lego Batman movie. The head actually is from Obadiah Stane from Iron Man. Kind of funny, like, that guy's so evil and Pa Kent is so awesome, but regardless, I think it works really well here. This torso's come in lots of places like Ned Leeds, as well as I think Harry Potter used this torso at one point. Then, of course, tan hands on there and dark blue legs finish out Ma and Pa Kent. So at the end of the movie, Ultraman's mask comes off and we see that it was a clone of Superman all along. So we already made Ultraman from earlier in the showcase, but I did want to go ahead and add this head from the DC CMF series because it's kind of got his eyes like sunken in and he looks a little bit more evil. And then I gave him some shaggy brown hair up top to finish the look, and I think that this really looks awesome. As we wind down the movie, we briefly see James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, as Maxwell Lord, and I thought that this torso from Dean Thomas from Lego Harry Potter actually works pretty well for what we see him wear oh so briefly in that scene. Then the head comes from the 2014 version of Star-Lord or the Winter Soldier from Captain America Civil War. I used that head on Kraglin from Guardians back in the day, so I think that that works well, and he's just got some gray hair up top. We don't really see him long enough to get like a good character study right now, but I think that that works out pretty well. And finally, as the movie closes out, we actually see Supergirl, which was such a cool surprise. Now, that being said, she does have a giant trench coat on that's covering up a lot of her suit, and in the Lego purist fashion, there is no trench coat alternative, right? Like, you either have the trench coat printed on the figure or you get something third party, and I try not to use custom parts or alter parts any more than I ever have to, so of course I'm gonna go ahead and just use the regular Supergirl from the sets back in the day. I think it looks pretty much like what we see in the movie, and I'm super happy with this. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and round out the showcase. Alright guys, let me know which figures you think turned out the best here, and be sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. I've got even more Superman content coming up, and of course, Fantastic Four First Steps is coming up here soon too, so you don't want to miss any of that content, so be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.